What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Dream It Travel Talks. Today we're going to be talking about the opening of, I guess, the kind of reopening of Disney World. So let's get into it. Welcome to another episode, guys. Today we're going to be talking about the reopening of Disney World. Everything's changing. Every day there seems to be some type of change. So today we're going to go and give you a timestamp. It is Sunday, June 14th, 8:19 p.m. So that's as of now. We're going to be going over the rules and the regulations that they have going on for Disney World at this point in time. So just a heads up, if you're watching this anytime after the 14th, it might have changed from that point. So Molly, you're going to be kind of going over all the changes first, and then we're going to kind of just go over how it affects us, each one of us as a family, just, if we would go, if we wouldn't go, just talk it out. So go ahead, babe.
All right. So like I said, I'm going to kind of give the facts first, and then we'll have a little discussion. So as of now, on June 22nd, there's select resorts will be opening. So there's the Disney Deluxe Villas, Fort Wilderness, and campgrounds. So it's Bay Lake Tower at Contemporary Resort, Boulder Ridge at Wilderness, Copper Creek Villas and Cabins at Wilderness Lodge, Animal Kingdom Villas, Kidani Village, Beach Club Villas, Boardwalk Villas, Disney's Old Key West Resort, Polynesian Villas and Bungalows, Disney's Riviera Resort, Disney Saratoga Springs Resort, and the villas at the Grand Floridian Resort. Those are the only resorts that are opening as of June 22nd. There has not been a date announced on when everything else will open. So even if you have a resort, or like if you, we'll get into that later. Anywho, so, and then on July 11th, Magic Kingdom and Animal Kingdom open. July 15th, you have Epcot and Hollywood Studios opening. And then, yeah. Okay. And then with those, what's like some of the big changes that are happening with those resorts, like with the opening, with all of this, there's, obviously things that are different everywhere. So first off, ages 2 and up have to wear face masks. The only time you can take your face mask at the park is either when you're sitting down to eat, when you're swimming, and they propose to have the relaxation areas where it's like a separate area that you can go into, and when you're in that area you can remove your face mask. Now Universal and SeaWorld got approved to do that, so I am assuming that Disney will be allowed to have that also. But again, that has not been announced. We won't know until park openings, but I'm pretty certain, in my opinion, that will happen. Another one is there is no Disney dining plan. And they have canceled all dining reservations through the end of the year. So once you are allowed to, you'll get to be able to book your dining once they're taking reservations. As of now, they're not taking any reservations. You can't buy any tickets yet. They're still working on getting the people whose trips have canceled, whether they're going to be able to reschedule, cancel. And if they do reschedule, they'll let those people book dining before they open it to the public. Another big thing is no Fast Pass, because they needed the Fast Pass line to work on social distancing. What else? So to get into the theme park, you have to have a theme park reservation. So not a fast pass, like I said, there's no fast passes. You have to make a reservation for what park you want to get into that day. And there's a limited capacity. We don't really know the percentage yet. There's, been talk that it's 25% capacity, 30%. They haven't said, but, so you'll have to have a theme park reservation and, a ticket to the parks in order to get into the theme park for the day. And another big thing is they are not guaranteeing, if you are staying at a resort, you are not guaranteed to get a theme park reservation. You have just as much chance as annual pass holders or people staying off property. So that's another big one. What else? Sorry, I have it all written down here. And And then the same kind of thing. They're going to take your temperature when you go in. Face masks. They're going to have the social distancing markers all around. And I think those are the big switches that I wanted to cover. Yeah. Other than that, it's like, the typical stuff that you see everywhere else. Am I forgetting any?
Nothing that I can think of.
Sounds pretty comprehensive to me.
Okay, so another big thing that is not going to be happening is there's only one restaurant that's going to be providing character dining, and that is Topolino's Terrace. I think that's how you say it, at Riviera Resort. And we don't know what that looks like. Yeah. I don't know if they're going to come to the table, if it's just going to be they're going to walk by and you say hi.
I think I saw that it's going to be previously, the restaurant has this, it's a parade.
Yeah.
It has one a little bit more than the other character dining restaurants do. So if I had to guess, it's probably going to be more of a walk
just the parade
kind of thing rather than the interaction. Yeah. I guess I haven't been, so I guess it's set up a little bit differently than some of the other character dining experiences.
Well, they still go to the table, but there is a parade. Yeah. You know how Chef Mickey's does the celebration in the middle?
Yeah.
Theirs is more a parade, kind of like Tusker House.
Tusker House, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Tusker.
But I've heard that they're a bigger restaurant, so there's more space. Okay. So that could be another reason they might be able to fit a little more people in there and still do social distancing. And then a big one that I think also is the character experience, the meet and greets are going to be... There's no, you can't run up and hug them. We don't really know what it's going to look like. I've seen what they've done at Universal Studios just on video and stuff. So, and then I know Shanghai Disney, it's there's a little trolley that drives by with the characters on it and they stand far away and you're, more than 6 feet back.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah. And you can, if you did get a picture, they're behind you. And some of it's cute. Some of it is cute and there's still interaction, but that's another change that is
different from what it was before.
Different. And then I have it all pulled up on my computer, so let me see. I think other than that, those are some of the majors that we wanted to cover. Pin trading will still be available.
On boards, not
the lanyards. The cast members won't wear lanyards, but I like the boards anyways.
Yeah, the boards are fine.
And then, the bus transportation will still be there, but limited capacity.
You're not going to be packed in like sardines.
Yeah, which is kind of nice.
But
then you might,
cool with that.
Yeah, absolutely.
That really depends, though, if you're trying to get home.
That's true. How long
that's
the
line
is.
Yeah. Well, and it depends. They may have to run more buses. Yeah. I don't know. So
minivans are not running at opening. The last that I read. Unless that's changed.
Okay. Yeah. I just saw something about that. Let me see. Minivans will not be available during additional opening. And then I think the valet parking is not either, but
unless you need it for accessibility, and then they'll help you.
Yeah. Yes. So, yep. That is that. So now we're going to... I don't know. See how everybody feels about it. What do y'all think? What are we
going to start with?
Let's start with the big end.
Just kind of go down the line.
Let's start with the face
mask. Elephant in the room. Yes, the face mask.
That to me, that's the big. That's the one that really. No, I feel like there's a lot, but I feel like that's the one that we're all dealing with on a day-to-day basis. That's going to transfer over to your vacation now. So, I get Dave. Do you want me to start? I don't know.
Yeah, okay. Go ahead, yeah. You go.
I guess, we wear face masks here in public. We both wear them at work when we have to go, because we're both still going into an office, at least. I'm going in kind of part-time-ish, working from home part-time. He's going in full-time still, and never stopped. So we're wearing face masks in public. We wear them at the gas station, we wear them at the grocery store. Even though in San Antonio where we live, it's not required, we are still choosing to wear it. If our kids go out, we're having them wear face masks.
Our oldest.
Our oldest. And depending on where we are and what the setup is, I'm having the younger ones wear them as well. But like I said, that's if we're outside. I might not have the younger two wear them because then all they do is. So for us, the face masks for our family trip would probably be a deal breaker.
Yeah.
I think we would postpone to a time where face masks would not be required, rather than go and have to wear a face mask and fight the younger two kids who are 9 and 8 on wearing a face mask the whole time. So to us, and Bill has asthma, so they're not super comfortable for extended periods of time. I mean, you're wearing them at work, but it's also pretty different than walking around outside at Disney World for.
Not very unsimilar based on where I work.
Yeah.
I mean, actually, I would honestly say if I had to pick, the face mask, because I'm using it every day, would be my deal breaker. The fast pass would be my deal breaker because I do not like waiting in lines, and that's a personal thing. So for me, I mean, again, I'm wearing a mask every day at work and working anywhere from 10 to 12 hours a day. I've kind of gotten used to that.
I just feel like with
I'm not saying it would be comfortable on vacation, but if you had to make me choose between what's my deal breaker. For me, the fast pass would be a deal breaker first and foremost before it would be the mask.
Yeah. I just feel like if they're required with my children, I would be fighting them the entire time, and I would be miserable because all I'd be doing is put on your mask, stop playing with your mask, quit slapping your brother with your mask, don't lick your mask, So it doesn't sound like that. Does not sound like a good time to me.
What's great about that is it applies in the workplace too.
I know. What do you guys think? I know that y'all have a kind of a different
for us
opinion.
Yeah. So I mean, for us, I feel like when we go out, I took the 4 kids. So our kids are 13, 12, 8, and 3. They all 4 had dentist appointment at the same time, and on the phone they were like, yeah, they're all gonna need to wear face masks when they come in. And I was like, you want my 3-year-old to wear a face mask? And they're like, yeah. I mean, we had one the other day that did, and they did fine. So I was like, all right. And honestly, she was the easiest one with it.
Yeah.
But that was at a dentist office for. I mean, we were there for about 2 hours. Yeah. By the time they got done with all 4 of them. But
she also did well at Target the other day.
Yeah, and we went to Target, and all 4 of them were there.
Just to try it out.
And they did okay. But it's harder to me. So we had a trip planned we were supposed to check in with Jaden, our oldest. We were doing a trip with just him for his birthday. We were supposed to check in June 27th, but it's gotten canceled, obviously. And I would have gone in a heartbeat with him in a face mask because he's older. He gets it. It's his, he can choose.
Well, we asked him too.
Yeah.
We asked him hey, if you have to wear a face mask, do you want to go still? And he was like, yes. That's cool, And even with McKaylee, our 12-year-old, probably would have taken her. Now, it's when it comes to 8 and younger, 8 with Emma and Liam, our 3-year-old, I feel like that it's just... she probably would go and do okay, because of the type of her personality and stuff. But I feel like it's hard because at 3 they don't really understand why, and that's just it's hot. Yeah. And it's not. She doesn't really grasp why she's having to wear it, so it's hard. I feel like for me to ask her hey, you got to put that on your face and just deal with it. Yeah. It's harder. And then even with an 8-year-old, he would do okay, and he wears it when we're out, but. Again, that's it. I feel like it's to go on a vacation where you're out in the heat all day, every day. That would be. Yeah. And that's the kind of the difference too, is 15 minutes, 20 minutes at Target is a lot different than 10 hours at Disney World.
Yeah.
From the heat of the day till the night. And you probably have to go through a few of them. For an 8-year-old, for an 8-year-old, for the 3-year-old, Jaden McKaylee, I think they'd be it's wet, Mom. They slap it off and get another one. No big deal. But that's just because, of their personality types, and, they get it. They understand, hey, if you want to be here, these are the rules. We're going to follow the rules. And so they would, they would put the mask on, I think. And I think they would have a good time too. I think it would be enjoyable. You'd probably get some
complaints, but not much.
Yeah.
As opposed to,
we'd be hey, snap our fingers, snap them into place.
Although hers fell off at Target, and she was like, I don't want to get sick.
Yeah. She's like, oh my God.
And I was like, no. It's like, you're fine.
So I mean, I guess if we had a client come to us and say, should we go? This would be one of the bigger conversations I would want to have with them. because we don't know when these restrictions are going to lift at this point. They have not said, we'll have to watch and see what Florida and Orlando specifically does with their numbers and what their governor and their mayor, so what their decisions are moving forward. So we'll just have to, if a client comes to us, and we just have to talk them through this, and how will your kids react to having to wear a face mask all day in the Florida weather? So
how will you react?
How will you
if you have
react?
an
It's a
adult
very,
come.
I feel like it's a very personal decision on whether or not you go. You have to wear it. If you go to Disney World, these are the rules right now at Disney World.
I think more than ever, this is really a one size fits one, not one size fits all. So it's going to have to be catered to the specific family and what their needs are. If they want to choose to dabble in Disney right now, I think it's the most amazing place on the planet, but there are some restrictions that need to be in place while we get through this pandemic. But at the end of the day, it's going to be different for every single family and every single person.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And I feel like it depends on where you're from too. Like being from San Antonio, Texas during the summer, we don't have as much humidity, but it gets hot. I mean, and if you can hack being outside, going to SeaWorld here or something here and be okay, then I don't feel like the mask is going to be as much of an issue as opposed to somebody from someplace that's cold. I can't even think of someplace cold because I don't even know what that's like right now, or
Canada.
Nicer weather.
There you go.
Right?
Antarctica.
I know.
And I think
you asked
105 the other day. I know, that's true. That's
Pluto.
True.
I think one of the big things though is Pluto. No, but I would say too that it is now. By the way,
changed it.
They changed it.
Or
It's a planet now.
I just can't win.
That'll be on our next episode. So tune in next time. No,
I'm so confused.
Sorry, Shae.
I gave up. I don't know.
No, but what I was going to say is that I think it depends too on if this is your first trip.
Yes.
Or if this is, a continuous trip that, this is my 10th one, this is my 5th one, or, I've been a couple times already and I love it and I'm cool with it. If this is your first time,
probably not.
I don't know. I would save
your money and do wait one more year and save your money and do do you upright, let's go 2021.
And not just because of Fast Pass. Now, let's segue into something else. Let's talk about, dining plan. No dining plan.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that?
That stinks.
I feel like that, for me, that's not necessarily a deal breaker because that's not saying you won't get reservations and get to go, but the dining plan just,
great. It's
so
easy.
We like the dining plan because you prepay. It makes your vacation feel all inclusive. I feel like we can order what we want in the restaurants and not have to worry about how much it costs. We have done trips without the dining plan. It's been a while, but even if you have the money in your budget and you're okay to spend it, you still look at those prices when you're considering what you're going to order. It's it's habit. And so even if you are prepared to splurge, it's a little more painful to actually place that order for that food that you want to try, but it's expensive. Where on the dining plan, you're like, I'll try this, and I'm okay, because it's already paid for. So,
for me, it's peace of mind.
But it's peace of mind. But I don't think it's a deal breaker.
It's not necessarily a deal breaker, but again, I like having the peace of mind that I don't have to worry about when I open my wallet when we go on vacation. And that's one of the things I actually love about Disney is you can almost do that, right? Outside of any kind of alcoholic beverage that you want. You can really enjoy Disney to its fullest.
And the tchotchkes that are everywhere that the kids are like, I want that, I want that.
Those stuff come into play as well. But for the most part, you can really almost know exactly what you're spending before you leave. And
absolutely,
I'm a bit of a planner, and I want to know how much it is. So for me, that's peace of mind. So again, not necessarily a deal breaker, but at the end of the day, I definitely would love to have that option if I could.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think it just would be, for me, I think the last time we did no dining plan was our honeymoon, which was almost 16 years ago. So I can't even imagine. Yeah,
we haven't done that. We haven't gone old school since.
But again, I'd go. But like you said, Shae, I'd sit there and look and be like, oh, are you really gonna get this steak and lobster, Dave? Like,
Yeah.
are you sure?
Yeah.
Like, can we just split this hamburger?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
Can
you
we
know,
get an
as opposed to
appetizer?
dining,
Yeah.
I'm like, everybody gets steak.
Yeah.
Like, you know, go for it.
It's like, I don't like steak.
You
Well, you're
know,
gonna
like,
eat it.
yeah.
Well, and that's where our kids have found things that they like that they never had the opportunity to try before, because we're going to restaurants and we're like, oh, you know, you want to get that steak, or you want to get that shrimp dish, or you want, yeah, go ahead and give it a try. Like, it's paid for. Where if we were in a restaurant here in town, probably wouldn't roll that dice because they might hate it. But there, we're like, you know, get it. Somebody will eat it, taste it, whatever. It's all part of the experience. You know, we'll figure it out. Like, we'll make sure you get food to be full. But it makes it easier to try things that, you know, it's fun. I like it, but not a deal breaker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Bill's just like, for AIDS.
I've just got an
He's like-
opinion. It's an opinion. Okay?
It's okay, and I think that's why we have
Yeah.
these discussions.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
like, all right.
All right, what's the next
what's
one?
the next one? So we did
What's the next
We
one?
did face mask.
character. Well, we're on dining. Let's talk character dining.
Yeah, that's not a deal breaker for
not
me.
a deal breaker for me. I mean, it stinks, especially if you have younger kids or kids that are super, super into autographs or meeting the characters or getting those pictures. It would be a bummer. But let's go ahead. Can we just throw in the character experiences to that one? Just character experiences in general.
Experience. Yeah, we can
The
absolutely.
dining, it stinks, but I could do without the dining. The character experiences, on the other hand, those
Is
it's
a
part
big
of the magic of Disney. Even for our older son, some of our greatest pictures, our fun memories, are these interactions with the characters. And so I'm not saying I wouldn't go because they weren't there. It would vastly change my experience, though.
Yeah,
I'm
it would be.
We would go. We would have a great time, but I think it takes away a little bit of the magic. Now, I don't know how they're going to compensate for it. I'm sure they have some kind of plan to pull the magic back in because they're Disney and they do that. But at the same time, I want to hug Mickey, smooch it.
Truth be told, I mean, my oldest, watching them go in and hang out with Darth Vader and Chewbacca and, the stormtroopers and those kinds of things. Those are things that they'll never forget. And so, again, I'm not sure it's necessarily a deal breaker, but I will say this. It would change my experience and it would change my thought process on booking right now.
Yeah. And that's another, is this your first trip? If it is your first trip, no. You need, especially with young kids, don't go if you can't go hug a character. Wait. Let's wait and do a good trip in a year, you know?
Yeah.
What do
absolutely.
you guys
That's
think?
kind of. Well, I feel that with Emma, our 3-year-old, especially, because my favorite thing to do is they get so excited when you're waiting in line and you're the next person. I have all my other 3. There's pictures of me holding them back on the ground, and then you just let go of them and they run and give the characters a big hug. That's as a mom, that's part of the magic, the joy, just to see that in even the older kids, they just get excited to see him. Now, they would probably handle it okay with and I don't know if autographs, are autographs going to be a thing? We don't know any of that yet. Yeah. Probably not. I'm assuming they're probably autograph cards they give you,
probably,
which is fine. It's another keepsake. My kids love those little keepsakes. But I don't know. I don't know that it would necessarily, since we do go often, I don't know that would hold me back, right now. But it would definitely, like you said, change. It'd be different. It's just a change. Probably a change that I wouldn't like, just because also having a 3-year-old, I'd love to be able to experience that with her, and it's just a little longer. I have to wait. And then when she's older, it's the same, but not as the same.
Yeah. I think it would be tough especially with small children. I think it's going to be extremely tough if you went to Disney World and you can't interact or go up to the characters and embrace them type thing. But I do think if you're going with older kids, or if it's maybe a couple going, you've been a few times and you're okay with it. I have seen some videos on YouTube where they get some pretty cool photo shots because of the setup that they have for that character. So like,
At other
this
parks.
this is at
Yeah.
Universal.
Yeah,
They were looking at Universal for that. But it was like some of the pictures they got were cool because it was like, someone's in the front, the character's in the back on this thing. So it's very like, kind of like this cool depth perception thing for a picture instead of you just like hugging, the character like this. So, I mean, if you've been a few times and you just kind of wanted to go and experience it, I think that part would be cool just to kind of be like, okay, I've done it this way for forever. How is it now? So.
Okay. So another thing, I guess the other thing that they're changing that we could talk about is, and I don't know that this is necessarily like a huge change, but for those of us that like, we've planned Disney trips our whole lives, and this is just a change that it's kind of like, whoa, that they're changing from, to make dining reservations instead of 180 days out, it's 60 days out. And I'm just curious how long that's going to stick around, if that's going to be a permanent change or a change for a while. But that's for those of us that like, I just randomly get on and I'm like, maybe in 180 days I want to go to Disney. So I make a reservation.
At like midnight.
I do. Well, 5
She's
o'clock
on
in the
there.
5
morning.
o'clock in the morning,
okay,
not
yeah.
tonight anymore.
Yeah.
Is that what it is?
No, it's 6 o'clock our time.
Mollee
Sorry.
wakes
I
me
wake
up
up at
to
5
do
to
it.
get ready.
She's the one that
And I
reminds
get
me to
everything
get up.
lined up. I do. I'm up. I'm ready. So
yeah.
I mean, and
I
again,
pointed
that's
her and, like I'm not the beneficiary of it, to be honest with you.
right.
Yeah.
I know.
That's
and
the
that's
truth
one
of
of
the
those.
matter is I get to go have the dining plan that I want. I get to go have the fast passes I want. I get to have all that stuff because she actually gets up and does it. So I know it looks funny that I'm pointing at her. At the end of the day, I'm the beneficiary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's like a necessarily a huge change, but just an adjustment for those of us that are used
That go all
to
the time.
planning our trips.
I will be interested to
How
see.
we do.
I mean, I don't hate it because planning your days 180 days out is kind of like, what kind of food am I going to be ready to eat in 6 months?
Yeah.
So it's
Well,
it's not. I don't think it's a deal breaker. It's just it's gonna take an adjustment, just like any change does. But it'll be interesting to see if it sticks around.
and the thing that to me that stresses me out a little bit about it is if they bring back fast passes, that's making fast passes and dining on the same day. So what order do you go in?
Yeah.
Like how do you like
Yeah.
like I gotta you have what you want to get.
Yeah.
And some
But
of those you gotta get.
I do think
Get
that
and
this
do
one. Okay,
first.
so here's my reasoning. And this is speculation. This is not based on anything. I don't have any insider knowledge. I could see this one sticking around because it gives them a lot more fluidity on their spacing and their capacity in their restaurants. If they book to full capacity 180 days out, then something like this or similar happens, and they've got to cancel all those reservations and reopen them.
Yeah.
At 60 days,
Yeah,
they're a
which is-
lot closer to that actual dining time.
knowing.
So it helps them adjust a little bit more as to how many reservations they can open. So this might be a longer term. I don't know.
So Bill, like working at a restaurant, do you have a different opinion about that?
So what I would say is I think it actually aligns with the rest of the world. So I think the days of the airlines overbooking, I think the days of the hotels overbooking, and the days of restaurants really overbooking all of their reservations are almost a thing of the past at this point. We can't afford to do that because we won't necessarily be able to serve them. So I think that actually she's right that they will continue down that road because the closer they have to close that gap and be able to actually service guests, the better they are. Because in the past, I think they've actually just booked and booked and booked and booked and booked. And the reality is they knew people were going to pass on it, right? That weren't going to actually make it. Nowadays, I think that people are actually going to show. And I can actually live that life over the last 7 days of people that have booked stuff online that were actually in our world are free reservations. And what we saw happen was they all showed.
Yeah.
So that's true.
Which is amazing in the free reservation world because that the show rate is typically about 60 to 65%. So,
And I mean, the Disney restaurants, as opposed to the way a lot of most normal restaurants like in our hometown are set up, there's really not very big waiting areas.
Agreed.
Most of
Yeah.
them are
So
very
social
tiny.
distancing.
So I mean,
Mm-hmm.
if they're going to make it to where they've overbooked, or they're opening up the list to allow a lot of people to stand around and wait, they're going to have another system to let people disperse to wait. You know, whether that's we'll text you and you have 20 minutes to get back, or, you know, something, because you can't just have 100 people standing right outside the check-in desk waiting to get their table. There's just not that much space to do that and safely social distance.
Agreed.
So,
Yeah.
No, absolutely. So
Okay.
yeah, it's going to be interesting. Yeah. Okay. So next, I guess we can go into, like, you know, entering into the park. They're going to temperature check, which no big deal.
Yeah,
It's,
they just
you know, they
scan
scan your
you.
forehead, you know.
I did see that if anybody in your party has a temperature, the whole party
Yeah.
out.
Nobody can go.
And they
Yeah,
are checking your
absolutely.
temperature when you check into the hotel as well, right?
Yes. In the hotel and then into the park. And then
So
just
just-
today, didn't we see? Yeah. Oh,
Just,
go ahead.
just so we're clear, it's a temperature over 100.4, correct?
100. Yeah. Over 100.4. So, and I think they check it twice. I think if it is there, then they'll wait a little bit or check it again.
To let you,
But
in
again,
case your
I don't-
temperature is elevated because of your walk to the park
Yeah.
or something.
The
Yeah,
heat.
And-
Yeah.
that's fair.
Yeah.
And where I'm curious to see. So where they've done it, like I know like Universal and then Disney Springs, they're doing it right in the parking garage, so it's not a long
So you
walk.
haven't been.
I'm assuming Disney World, they'll move theirs before bag check. I mean, obviously they're going to do it before bag check, but I think
Yeah,
it would
yeah.
be fairly
Well, and
close. I mean, but then if there's a line,
and
then
you
you're
found
standing in a
something.
line.
I
You
mean,
know?
this might be a rumor. I don't know about them.
Again, yeah.
testing
Well, I mean,
the bag
Diz
check
posted.
stuff.
Yeah, the Diz posted it, and they're pretty
I will say
reliable,
that
right?
I-
What you found.
Actually tested that exact system at
Well,
a
talk
security
about it.
conference that
You
I
know-
was at. So it's like a metal detector, your typical metal detector you'd walk through at CVS, but it scans you. I guess it's somewhere between the metal detector at CVS and the airport scanner. So you can't see every like outline of your body, but it draws a box if you have anything suspicious. That could be a weapon or any, like, I'm assuming that they'll add, you know, so anything shaped that could be possibly a selfie stick.
So
And it literally draws like a red box or a different, like, I think they can do a yellow box and a green box. I think this was like 6 months ago that I tested it. And then if you have that red or yellow box, they'll probably pull you to the side and do a check.
So to go back, if you have never been to Disney and you don't know what they've done for bag check, you legit go, you open all the
Dig
zippers
through
in
it.
your
Yeah,
bag,
yeah.
in every bag, and they dig through. So it's very hands-on.
Yeah.
So I figured that they
Yeah.
would have to do something different because
Yeah.
there was no way
and this,
they
it
could
would
do
be-
that.
I think this
So
would be
this,
so cool.
I'm
'cause
down.
Literally,
I-
it's not one where you have to stand like this and turn around or whatever, shake your tail feathers to get through like you have to at the at the airport. It's you just walk, and it's so fast. There's also some facial recognition components to it that they can do, so that if there's, you know, people on the no-fly list at Disney World, like it'll pick you up. And so they, at this conference, there
I'm
was
all for it.
hundreds of people all
Yeah.
over, and they were just scanning people, and you could walk through and you could go and see what they did. And it's not invasive. It's very appropriate. It's not, you know, you can't see any outlines of your body or anything. It was just identifying the objects. And of course they had, you know, fake guns and stuff. And so they were like, here, walk through with this. And you'd see it, and it's like a buzzer and a big red X. And so like you hide it, and they'd be like, okay, I need to see what's, you know, in the back of your pants. And they, you know, pat you down, like, oh, found it. Here it is. It's really cool. Really, really cool. We looked at doing it for a project that I was managing, and it's really cool. And I think it would speed up that process.
I think it would.
much.
Oh my goodness, that's a game changer.
Yeah.
I feel, for entering into. I mean, I think it's something they've probably been looking into and working on for a long time, and I think this is just the push they needed to change it up, because that was.
technology has finally caught up. Like,
Yes,
because
yeah,
it's,
absolutely,
you know, it's
yeah.
like a cross between imaging and you know, it's not just a metal detector, and that's kind of what they had to work with for a really long time. But God, this would be so cool if they could do it. It would make that bag check so much faster.
I just want to shake
Yeah,
myself
so that-
feather.
You want to shake your tail feather?
That's all. I'm
Next
looking
time we
for.
go, Bill. Let's do it.
So
Let's do
they-
it.
Distinct
That's what they make you do at the
permission to shake
airport.
my
They
tail
make you
feather.
stand there and boogie, right?
Would that make you want to go on your trip to Disney World?
Yes. Yeah.
Given an
shake-
I
opportunity.
feel like
Shake
that
your tail
would
number.
No fast
enhance
passes.
my trip. Shaking my
Well,
tail.
let's talk about that now, Bill, that you're bringing that up. Like, so they're taking away fast passes for now in order to open up that space for social distancing. So for me, like, I don't know. I get it, and I love fast passes. I do. I think they're amazing. I think it's a great thing. But I also have seen where the lines without fast passes that don't have it available at all can move faster because they're not loading this line and then a little bit of here and then this line, so I don't know. I think I'm curious to see how that's going to turn out. And if they're going to do more virtual queues.
Yes, virtual queues.
Or boarding
I can get
passes,
down with.
passes like they do.
So,
Billiam, go ahead.
I'll take this first. As far as no fast passes, I'm out. To be honest, I don't think it's productive for my family to try to do that. What I will say is the virtual queues that like you're talking about, I'd be totally down with. But if you ask me, do I want to go to Disney and there's no fast passes whatsoever because they're using the other lines for social distancing, I'm out.
So Bill doesn't do lines at all. For those of you that are new, don't know us. But he's fortunate to be married to a woman that has been to Disney World a lot of times, and
She does a
we
great job.
really don't wait in lines.
She does a great job.
Basically, if
She
it's
keeps
longer
me out
than
of
20
lines.
minutes, we're like, we'll go do something else.
Yeah.
And so
But
that's how we roll at Disney. So fast pass, but no fast pass would be really hard for us. But I'm open to exploring other alternatives.
yeah. Well,
See,
with
and
virtual
I-
queues though, it's kind of like a fast pass, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
you don't
because you don't have to go into line until they
waiting.
call you on your phone.
Yeah.
They-
Yeah.
Not call you, but
Yeah.
notify you. So
Yeah.
it's kind of similar to
So
fast
you can
pass,
do
except
other
that you're
things.
just
You can,
Yeah.
take in the sights and shop and eat,
I don't know
drink,
anybody that showers.
whatever.
Yeah. So I know for us, I don't know that would be a deal breaker for us.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
I
I mean,
feel
if it has
like
virtual
you-
queues, I feel like virtual queues are going to be very similar to
Yeah.
Fast Pass. I might be wrong, but I feel like if it's something like, all right, cool, I'm gonna get in this line right now. It's 12 o'clock right now, and I can come back to this line at 2 o'clock, and they'll notify me. Then cool, like
Yeah.
I'm in line, basically with my phone. So I'm totally down with that. I think that's a little bit easier, especially if you can just have it in your phone, have it on the app, have it in your phone, and done.
Yeah.
yeah.
So we'll see what they do with
So-
Yeah,
that.
so that's good. Yeah, but that's another one. If it's your first trip, then
Yeah.
I mean, it
Oh,
might be a
yeah,
little
it's
easier
not
for,
sure.
but I could see it being easier for them, for whoever's going.
I think-
instead of having to learn how to deal with
I
fast
think
passes.
it will, yeah. Like if there's no virtual queues or fast passes, like you definitely need to use a travel agent because we can guide you on directions to go in and kind of orders to do things. And I really think
Yeah.
at least
Well,
working
and
with
I mean,
somebody
it-
that's been a lot of times and can guide you in the right direction.
Mhm.
So I don't know. Shameless plug.
Yeah.
Dream It Travel Company.
Good. And then, hey, and then okay. So to me, this is one that makes me think about not going, but I don't know. Honestly, I'd probably still go, but I didn't want to go to Disney World. So I don't mind the part of it. So making your reservation to get into the park. So each day you have to have a reservation for what park you want to go to. But what gets me is that if you're
No park
staying
hopper.
on,
No park hopper.
well, I don't know. They haven't said
Oh,
that
they
yet.
haven't?
Okay.
They haven't
Okay,
officially.
that's a
No, they
rumor.
haven't said
Okay.
that yet. But what gets me is that if you're staying on property, you're not guaranteed a reservation to a park.
Yeah,
Chances
that's-
are you'll get into one, but if everybody's wanting to go to Magic, like if you can't get one to Magic Kingdom any day you're there, then
But you
you
can't
might not be able to go to Magic Kingdom. You
You
know,
can't
Like,
schedule that when you schedule your trip, though.
They haven't
I don't
said
know
yet.
yet.
Okay.
They haven't said yet. I don't know when that's going to be scheduled.
Yeah, I mean, because that would kind of be a deal breaker if you
That
can't
one's-
schedule everything at one time to be like, all right, cool, I want to stay at Animal Kingdom Lodge or whatever resort you're going to stay at, and I want to go to this park on this day. Even if you don't, even if they don't have park hopper, but you can at least say, okay, on Thursday we're going to this one, on Friday we're going to go to another one, Saturday is the other park,
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
we get to go to all of our parks. But if it's going to be like where you can pick your resort, but you won't know until you're there. I wouldn't want to go. I would just feel like that's a huge risk of
And
trying
I
to go to
don't-
Disney World and not being able to go
And
Yeah.
I
for
don't.
for the parks.
That is not one of the changes on this list that I think is going to be around for a very long time. I think that is to get them through the initial opening, and as soon as they can drop that restriction, I think they're going to drop it. They want to be able to charge people for park hopper. They want people to be able to go to the park they want on the day they want.
Let me see if I can find about park hopper.
So it might be a rumor, but I thought I'd seen it, but
I haven't heard about. All I've heard is that they don't know yet.
Yeah, this one to me is no deal breaker because as much as I want to be a planner, and you can't have fast passes anyway, so what does it matter?
But if we book the 5-day trip, there's no guarantee we can get into the park for 4 days. Like, so we might be going to Disney World and only get to go to park for 3 days.
Yeah, the thing I'd say about that is
He would rather sit at the hotel and swim in the pool anyways, so this is not a deal breaker.
okay, that's not where I was headed with this, but okay.
So what were you going to say, Bill?
What I was legit going to say is that I'm not necessarily as like structured as she is. So if we went to this park this day and this park this day and this park this day, I would have no issues with it. Obviously, again, with no fast passes, there's no repercussions. You know, I mean, obviously I want to ride Flight of Passage. Obviously I want to ride Soarin'. Obviously I want to ride all the places that I want to ride. But if there's no guarantee into any park or fast passes, to me, that's not a deal breaker for me.
So we go on a 5-day trip and we're planning 4 days in the park. There's no guarantee we'd even be able to go to Animal Kingdom. We might be able to have...
Oh, shucks.
That's where Flight of Passage is.
Well, I understand that from my standpoint.
Or Epcot. There's no drinking around the world. That would ruin my trip.
Okay. I get that.
Yeah, I mean that's tough for me. Like look,
I play the law of
if you-
averages, right? You will typically be able to get into that park.
We'll see.
Typically.
Well, but yeah.
We're
I
guessing.
mean,
I don't know.
we're just going to have to see how it is. I'm
Yeah.
curious to see how they're going to do it and when they're going to let you make the reservations. Because if you make it 60 days in advance,
Then
well, I mean,
Yeah.
obviously that's not going to happen for the people that are going in
in
July.
yeah.
But I don't
Honestly,
know.
which is
Yeah,
why I
I'm
think
curious.
they're doing what they're doing right now, is to be able to take care of those folks that are gambling in July. Honestly.
Yeah. Well, and there's a lot. And so Universal kind of did the same thing. You have to have a reservation to get into the park. And I mean, they opened it up a week or so in advance, I think. And it was, there's a lot of people that couldn't get in. I mean, granted, they only have 2 parks, but.
Yeah. I mean, now
But
for a
it's-
new
yeah.
person
But
going to Disney, if they were like, okay, I want to go end of July and I want to be able to hit all these parks, I would tell them wait.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, so,
especially
okay.
if you don't know if you're going to get into those parks.
Well, let's talk about that. So let's talk about us first. At what point would you go to Disney?
Well, we
So
have
Shae
a
and
trip
Bill,
scheduled for October.
I know, but what would you still go with if all of these are in place
All of
in
these
October?
restrictions are in place. I don't think we would go. I think we would do something else.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the theme, okay, this depends on the reservation system and how that all plays out. The one that if there's no fast passes, I think it'd be really hard for me to convince this guy to go. But I have a feeling there's going to be some kind of workaround. If it's not a fast pass, it's going to be something to help you avoid some lines, because they don't want you sitting in line forever. They want you out in the park spending money.
Well, but the thing is, when there is no fast passes, the lines typically don't get as long as they do.
For that one,
with
I
fast
just want to see
passes.
what it looks like and how it goes. Like, we'll just have to monitor the situation and read about it and talk to people that have gone. The one that I think would be a deal breaker for us is the face masks. I don't think I want to spend a week with the kids fighting them about face masks at Disney World.
Mm-hmm.
I think.
Yeah, I mean,
We'll
that
see.
one's tough for me because sadly they're going to be miserable. I don't want to pay that much money for them to be miserable.
So we would just wait. I mean, I'm not saying we'll never go again, But it also depends. Like, they might be used to face masks by October.
Could be. Yeah.
I don't know. We just haven't had them out enough to where they've worn them that often. So I don't know. By October, it might be so protocol that it's no big deal. Like, I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, if they have to wear them at school, then.
Yeah, then well, there you go. So
There's the new norm.
we'll see. So right now we have a trip scheduled for October. The kids don't know. So, and I'm not going to tell them until we have figured out what everything's going to look like and if that trip's actually going to schedule. You knew I put it on your calendar. I put it on your calendar.
She's doing
Fun
great.
time.
though.
It's Mario's
good. She's
birthday
good.
trip.
His birthday's in December.
You want to go to Disney World in December?
I'm being
Say yes.
right now.
October's, I mean, it's Food and Wine Festival.
Well, I mean, here's the thing too, though. If you go in October, I mean, it's still going to be hot. Most of the time, it's still hot.
Yeah,
but if
is
it's cooling
but it's
down,
not as
if
hot.
it starts to cool down, I don't think a face mask will probably be a lot more bearable, especially if it's cold, because then you're going to keep your heat in a little bit more that way. So, I mean, I'm anxious to see if we still have to wear a face mask when it starts getting cold. Will more people go during that time? Just because you're not breathing in hot air.
To be very honest, as this stuff, as it goes around, like, I have a feeling face masks are probably a part of our life in some situations going forward. I think we will probably start to see them more in like flu season or whatever. So we might, even if they're not required, keep some with us. And if we walk into a room and they're like, please fill in all available spaces, because you hear that at Disney all the time. You're like, okay, kids, it's time to throw that puppy on. And we'll just put it on, and then once we're out of here, you can take it back off again. Like, but it's the having to wear it all day outside that I think. But that's just us. So, what about y'all?
Yeah,
when are you ready to go?
I know how I feel.
I
How do you feel?
I didn't know all of these rules yet. So face mask, I would be with face mask, I'm okay trying it. Especially with the older kids. Even with Emma and Liam, depending on when we would go, I think I would be okay with that. I would probably want to do a trial run here, just like, let's go for a walk for 2 miles and see how you guys do for the next 5 days. But like the other part, not knowing, like, okay, if we got reservations at a resort and we weren't going to know if we're going to be able to get into a park, that would be a real big deal breaker for me. Because if we're going to go and spend money to go to a resort, but we're not going to know if we can get into, the actual parks until, like, say that day or the prior day, like, I feel like that's a wasted trip to go and just stay at a resort and not be in. And then they're like, hey, sorry, we're full the whole time that we're there, and we never get to go into a park.
I know. I'm hoping that they let that be something that's made in advance. I don't know. I'm curious to see how that's going to happen.
Yeah, if they change that to where, they're like, okay, cool, yeah, you're planning your trip. What parks do you want to go to while you're there? And like you're going to get those reservations to the park, then cool, I'm cool with going. But if that's still there and they're saying that, oh yeah, you won't know until you actually get to the park, get to your resort, and then the day before or a week before you're making those reservations to try to get to the actual Disney park, and not knowing if you had that, I feel like that would be, especially with kids, I think that'd be a huge bummer if you get to Port Orleans, like the one that we've been to before, and then we're like, all right, cool, we're going to go to the park, and then we don't even know if we're going to go to the park yet.
And we're the type of people that we're at the park opening
all the time
to close. Yeah. Like, we don't like to go nap. We don't do swimming. We don't like none of that. I'm at Disney to do Disney. Like, I want to be at a park.
Yeah.
I don't need to do all that other stuff.
Yeah.
Like,
I want to know that we can go to the park.
Like,
I would have to know that before we actually make reservations to go. If that's not there, then that's a deal breaker for me.
I'm with you on that. I'm ready to go yesterday. Like, I'd been there, done that. Like, I'm bummed Jaden's trip got canceled. I would have done it. I'm kind of, to me, I think going, but personally, like, as many times as we've gone to Disney, it's kind of was exciting for me to see it like this.
Yeah,
and to be like, I was there.
Like,
I saw that.
If it was just us,
and so,
or if it was just me and Bill, or the four of us, I would go the day that they open. I would be standing there like, let me in. I would love to see how they're going to do all this stuff and what the crowds are like, and have that experience. But with the kids, it's kind of different. Like, I feel like there's a different level of planning.
Yeah, I would definitely take the older two. And then, I mean, if I was given, I mean, if we were going to get a good enough discount from our other trip being canceled, I was ready to take all 4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
And
so
that was
I think,
one
you
thing
know,
that was frustrating.
it is very
Disney,
frustrating.
But, you know, we called to cancel Molly's trip to either reschedule it or whatever. But, you know, right now they're not taking new reservations. So you can reschedule your trip for a later date, but only at the hotels that are currently open.
That are open.
They will not let you schedule a trip for any point in the future at a hotel that is not currently going to be open. So that makes it really hard for those people whose trips just got canceled. Yeah. So that's kind of a bummer, and I'm surprised. And there's no, at this point there's no discount for those people whose trips were canceled.
Well, not for the ones currently. The first round of people that got canceled, they got offered free dining. They rescheduled. If their trip fell within the cancellation window now, then they're getting, and it got canceled again, they're getting 35% off,
which is
of a trip.
Pretty dang good discount.
And then nothing.
Yeah.
So that is a little frustrating.
It's frustrating. No, I mean, they're business, and they got to stay in business, and I want them to be open for years and years to come. So do what you got to do, but at the same time,
but at least you can't even let me keep my discount I had because it was free dining, and they're not keeping they don't have the dining plan. But the one thing I will say that I was kind of like that I wouldn't go for the reason, like, they offered for me to switch hotels and go at the same time, but the parks wouldn't have been open. Like, I'm not gonna. Maybe if it was just David and I don't know, but I have no, like, I was like, no, I'm not gonna take my son on his birthday trip when the park's not open.
Yeah.
But thanks very much.
Yeah, I feel like for us too, like, even when we went on our honeymoon to Animal Kingdom
we were never
Lodge,
at
we didn't spend that much time at the hotel. I mean, it was fun. It's a fun place, but I can't imagine us spending all day there, and I think our family would be bored after a while. You know, I think we'd swim, eat, you know, enjoy some of the cool stuff that they had there. It was a cool resort and stuff, but I just don't see us being there more than like maybe 2-3 hours and then being like, all right, what are we gonna go do now? You know? So.
But that's how we travel. I know y'all are swimmers, and
our kids like the pool. The last trip we spent
but
a whole day at Boardwalk, and we had a blast that first day we got there. I mean, granted, we had just gotten off a cruise, so they were beat. So, I mean, we spent 2 hours in the room. Everybody just like conked out. But we explored the boardwalk. We swam. We ate.
Oh, I had an ESPN.
Yeah, like, I mean, we had a good time. So we like to work some of that stuff into the trip. But I mean, I'm with you. Like, I'm not going to travel all the way to Orlando just to hang out at a cool hotel. We want to go to the parks. Yeah. There's cool hotels here in San Antonio. We can hang out at.
No, seriously. I mean,
you know.
But no, I mean, I wouldn't. Like Shae just said, I wouldn't want to travel all the way to Orlando just to stay at a nice resort. You know, we have nice resorts here. So, but anyways, guys, I think that is going to be it for this episode of Dream It Travel Talks. And let us know, like, what is a deal breaker for you? Hit us up in the comments. Why would you go? Why wouldn't you go? Let us know. Hit us up. We also have our social media feeds in the comments. We have Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, our website. You can go over there and read a little bit more about us there. And if you're interested in looking at any type of booking to Disney World, shoot us an email, dreamers@dreamittravelcompany.com. Hit us up there, and I think that's going to be it. So, keep on dreaming, y'all.
Keep on dreaming.
And we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.